Joe Rogan is a one-man army who's a color commentator, a podcast host, a comedian, an actor, and a television presenter. Over the years, we have seen him grow from success to success, but it was when Spotify bought his podcast for millions of dollars that he hit the really big time. In this video today, let's take a look at everything you need to know about Joe Rogan, including his net worth. First up, he's one of the most successful businessmen in sports. Many of us may not know this, but the UFC Commentator is one of the wealthiest businessmen in the combat sports industry. The man has a net worth exceeding $120 million. That's huge. And that's not his only career. He is the host of the most popular podcast in the world, where he talks about everything under the sun, and his guests are the biggest stars in the world. Besides that, he has also dabbled in comedy, acting, and even MMA commentary. Rogan is also a skilled martial artist, even though he has never actually competed in a professional MMA match. He even started practicing karate and taekwondo at the age of 14, but he suffered head trauma and chose to retire at 21. Up next, let's take a closer look at his net worth. Rogan has had a slow and steady start to his huge fortune. In 2017, Celebrity Net Worth reported that he earned about $5 million per year from the podcast. And then right before he signed that massive exclusive deal with Spotify in May 2020, it was estimated that he was already said to be earning about $20 million every year from that podcast alone. This came from sponsorship deals and revenue from YouTube. Then this year, Celebrity Net Worth estimated that Rogan's net worth is around $120 million. The exclusive rights to his podcast, called The Joe Rogan Experience, were sold to Spotify for a whopping $120 million. Looks like 120 is the magic number for him. The podcast is posted on his YouTube channel called Powerful JRE. It has close to 11 million subscribers. It seems that overall, this generated a cool $60 million for him every year. The podcaster admitted that his financial success on programs like Fear Factor and News Radio laid the basis for his upcoming endeavors. For covering a UFC fight, he earns a base fee of $5,000 and another $50,000 for pay-per-view events. Rumor has it that Rogan may make about $100,000 for every podcast episode. And that's not all. He still does sold-out stand-up shows around the country. He also earned millions as the host of the reality television series Fear Factor between 2001 and 2006. Let's take a look at his early days. Actually, let's start a little bit before that. Named Joseph James Rogan at birth, he was born in Newark, New Jersey on the 11th August, 1967. He is of Italian and Irish descent, and his father was a police officer in Newark. Rogan has spoken about his memories of domestic violence in his childhood and how his parents divorced when he was just 5 years old. He also hasn't spoken to his father since he was 7 years old. His family moved to San Francisco and then Gainesville, Florida, before settling in Newton Upper Falls in Massachusetts. This is where Rogan took up karate at the age of 14 and taekwondo at 15. At 19, Rogan won the U.S. Open Championship Taekwondo tournament as a lightweight. He studied at the University of Massachusetts in Boston, but dropped out. He lived in Boston up until he was 24 when he moved to New York City to try his luck at stand-up. Not to mention, his career actually did start with comedy. By 1994, he had moved to LA and booked his first national television spot, as well as the MTV show Half Hour Comedy Hour, where he was able to show off the stand-up comedy he had polished during his time in New York. He also got his acting role that year as Frank Valenti, an egotistical baseball player in the sitcom Hardball. He also performed at the Comedy Store in Hollywood for 13 years. Rogan went on to star on the NBC sitcom News Radio from 1995 to 1999. He played Joe Garelli, a handyman at the radio station. In 2001, he started hosting the American edition of Fear Factor. The show ran from 2001 to 2006 at first. It returned in 2011 with Rogan as its host for the 7th and final season. This was also the year the color commentator got his first major movie role in Zookeeper. In 2013, he hosted the television show Joe Rogan Questions Everything on the Syfy network. The show was kinda like an extension of his podcast and covered topics like the existence of Bigfoot and UFOs. And with such a busy career, he has also written 4 books. Meanwhile, he started his UFC commentary career working for free. But Rogan was working for the Ultimate Fighting Championship even before he became a commentator. He started in 1997 as a backstage and post-fight interviewer. He became friends with UFC's then new president, Dana White, who offered him a job as a color commentator, but Rogan actually said no. By 2002, White was finally able to get Rogan to take the job for free in exchange for event tickets for him and his friends. But after about 15 free gigs as a commentator, Rogan agreed to be paid for the job. Fair enough. Rogan won the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Award for Best Television Announcer twice and was named MMA Personality of the Year 4 times by the World MMA Awards. And today, he is one of the richest businessmen in combat sports. Up next, his car collection is off the hook. Rogan's car collection is actually pretty neat. There are plenty of beautiful vintage cars in that collection, as well as the latest speed stars. First up, there's the 1969 Chevrolet Nova. He had it completely redesigned. The car was stripped down to the bare metal by Steve Strope, owner of Pure Vision Design. The addition of the Camaro parts is what souped it up. This is just one of the cars that Joe lends out out to display at car shows. She's a beauty indeed. Rogan calls his 1970 Cuda sick fish. This one was dreamed up by none other than the famous car designer Chip Foose. Built by Troy Trepanier, the car is completely modified and is powered by the Chrysler Hemi V8 engine. This one is also one for the car shows. Also in Rogan's collection is the 1965 Stingray convertible. It is powered by an LS1 engine and has a Magnuson supercharger, as it sits on a tube chassis and features an independent front and rear suspension with the braking system from a Grand Sport. This one is truly a beauty, not to mention his multi-million-dollar real estate. As he spent much of his career in Los Angeles, he spent about $5 million on a home in Bell Canyon in Ventura County, California in 2019. The mansion has 8 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, and nearly 9,000 square feet of activity space. He had been living in the area since 2003 when he bought a home worth more than $2 million. But in 2020, he sold his original Cali home as he prepared for a truly palatial mansion in Austin, Texas, worth nearly $15 million. This new home of Rogan's was built in 2006 and is located along the beautiful Lake Austin. It stretches over almost 11,000 square feet and has 8 bedrooms and 10 bathrooms. The Asian-styled mansion is really a thing of beauty with its floor-to-ceiling windows, classy woodwork, and state-of-the-art gym, not to mention a custom-built podcast facility. Lastly, let's learn more about his family. The podcaster has been married to Jessica Dietzel since 2009. She is the daughter of famous musician Jeff Conrad Dietzel. The two of them met in Los Angeles in 2001, where she was working as a cocktail waitress at the time. Dietzel has a degree from California State University and was a model too. She was signed on by M Model Management and a Korean brand, Wholesome. Somehow, Rogan's wife is often confused for Jessica Schimmel, possibly because of the same first name and alma mater that they share. By the way, Schimmel is the producer of The Simpsons. The couple has 2 daughters together, and the third one from Dietzel's previous relationship. Their eldest biological daughter is called Lola, who is 14, and the younger one is Rosie, aged 12. Rogan legally adopted Kaya Rose as his own. She is the daughter of Dietzel and her ex, Kevin Connor. The couple is fiercely private about their relationship, but there have been some rumors about Rogan having a fling here and there while still being married to Dietzel. Rogan also has 3 sisters, with only one of them being his direct sibling and the other 2 being his stepsisters. He has remained out of touch with his father since the age of 7. Seems like he's had quite the journey. Hate him or love him, you can't ignore Joe Rogan. That's a wrap for this video. Are you a Joe Rogan fan? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.